I hope your front door is locked and your phone is switched off. It's match time, and nothing can come in the way of a head coach and his Blood Bowl.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Sage streaming Blood Bowl 2. We're playing Skaven in the Champion Ladder, or Lamp Cheddar, and their record is 7-1-1. And we are slightly beat up because we had 3 deaths last game, including one of our Storm Vermin. We only have 20k in the bank, so that kind of sucks. So we get 3 Journeymen. 20k is not a lot. But we do have a plus strength Storm Vermin, which is cool. We have a natural one-turner with Sure Feet, which is cool if he manages to survive. And we have 4 gutters and a thrower, and a kicker, so it's not complete awful. We're facing Wood Elves. We're facing Wood Elves who are going to buy a wizard unless they have Journeyman themselves. Let's have a look at Stay Gold Pony Boy. Oh, they do have Journeyman themselves, so they're not getting a wizard. They have a Strip Bull Dancer, they have a Movement Dancer, they have a Rookie Catcher, 1 Dodge Lineman, and a Rookie Tree. Yeah, that should be interesting. We'll find out whether it's worth pushing next couple of weeks. So, no tackle on the Woodies at least, so that's good. Murder some elves. I like the sound of that, Lectinian. Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I would really be in favor of changing the system so that no one can spend more than 40k of their treasury on inducements and then just getting rid of the bank rule altogether. I think that would work very well. It shouldn't be too hard to implement either. So he chose to defend first, which makes sense because it gives him time. Well, anything gives him time to kill my one-turner, but this gives him more time to kill my one-turner. I have actually upgraded my stadium with my my 62-0 elves at some point because it felt like a shame not to have it. Okay, for a moment I thought I was going to 3-die that catcher, but I guess things change. So thrower definitely doing the ball handling because sure hands is a thing. For this matchup, block would have been better on him for sure. Let's see, do we want to occupy this space at all? Yeah, we kind of do. Besides, we need one here anyway. Yeah, this is a bit safer, I suppose. No, we have enough speed in the backfield. You know what? Let's swap this around. I believe this will do. Death to the elves. Yes, that's exactly right. I like it. Blizzard. Well, if we do wind up having to do a natural one-turner, then that kind of sucks. So, punch the Journeyman, I suppose. 6, 7 would wind up there. Let's send you out here. And you... No, you out there. That would be dumb. Because I'd be in the way, because this is a direct diagonal. Better. Both down's good enough. Should have punched the dodger, I guess. Yeah, he's fine. How are we doing with this? Yeah, this is alright, I think. That's good. There. Do not follow. Got one! Nice. Hooray! Hooray! Let's get another one. Let's get another one. Don't follow. Ah! Not bad, lads. Not bad. Mighty Blow would have gotten it. So... how about if we're... yeah. Doesn't really matter much. I guess being here isn't awful. No, being here is okay. It's probably going to be during the end of this match, since it's an audio format only and they've invited 12 people. I've decided that I'm going to shut up for most of it, and so I'll have it audible. And no, it's not Cyanide, but that's not that weird because Focus is in charge of handling everything around Champ Ladder and stuff. Cyanide is the company that does the coding, the actual development. Nothing related to the rules. That's all the rules of Champ Ladder and the system and organization. That is all Focus. Nithios. So he's dropping by, and Dode's dropping by, and then there's a lot of streamers invited. But yeah, I'm playing a game while we listen. That is exactly the idea. So I'll limit my commentary to what I think is helpful. And I've got Discord on push to talk. Ah, thanks 130. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun to do. Yeah. 3 guys on the tree is just enough to maybe tempt me to punch it. I don't think we're going to do that. Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I mean, we'll have to see how much Nithios says he'll be able to do. Right, so what do we punch? Where do we want to hang out? I don't really mind hanging out near him here, for example. Well, the thing is, I mean, Focus is also the company that spends the money on having having something like a prize pool in the first place. Whoops, that's a dud. And yeah, the having a system that works for people is also pretty helpful when it comes to keeping existing coaches interested, and by extension, getting getting new coaches into the game. Because the more excited player base the game has currently, the more people are going to want to join in the fun, basically. Okay, that went well. Yeah, agreed. But still, the game at large is still kind of shaped by these things. For example, one of the things that's under discussion is to change the way prizes are awarded. If you would say use half the prize pool to give a little bit of money to the top of every top coach of every race, just for qualifying, that might see a lot more games played by the less obvious winning races, right? I mean, there's very little point in qualifying with flings right now if you know that you're going to get knocked out there round one. Because if you qualify with Chaos or Nurgle, then you might stand a really good chance. And as soon as the prize pool gets awarded in part for qualifying, you're basically stimulating people to pick those races, and that's definitely helpful in my opinion. Yeah, as long as we can keep dodging away from that tree, we're doing all right. Zero 129. Let's see if we can roll another boat down then. Nope. Alas, that didn't happen. Is there anywhere we want to group up? Good. Bad. Good. Bad. Yeah, I'd say that's worth a reroll. Better. Come on, break stuff. Break stuff. Better would be better, of course. Thanks. I missed the sage advice. It's good to have it back. Okay, well, we've kind of exposed Liger here. Don't really like that. Staying very low team value and having 3 treemen and a chef is quite alright. I mean, if you look at the game I played against Knorr's Vampires, for example, that went pretty well. Yeah, and even then, Alark, you need to hand off to them, and movement 5 is just a damn shame. Yeah, cheap Fowlers definitely help too. Absolutely. Yeah, fair enough. I did leave that rather open. Ooh, that's nice though. 3 rerolls. Not a turnover. Yeah, stays. Then dodges out. Not sure. He could just stay there, I guess. Yeah, he does. Okay. So we have an opportunity for a surf here, technically. We also have an opportunity to get a lot of mobility going. I think this is a good time to move my entire formation out there. This is already 2 dice because strength 2 and strength 4. But I don't really have anything good to blitz past here. Yeah, I guess we'll make do. No surf then. POWs are nice. POWs are good. POWs are my friends. Bye-bye, Catcherino. Right. So this this blitz is a little bit scary. But now it's not. And wow, KOs are really, really hot this game. Of course, only a single cast doesn't help that much for the next part. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 could be all the way over there, which would leave him here. Yeah, I think that works. Wait, 2, 4. Wait, can you reach the back part? Yes, you can. Giving up a 1 die isn't ideal, of course. Could stick him somewhere, maybe. Let's see how this goes first. Dodge has been used. We've got 2 rerolls left. No problem. Would I reroll a fail here? Maybe. Where do I really want to be? You can fill this up anyway. How about we go there and there? At least keep this guy busy. Wow. Good stuff. Good journeyman. Good journeyman. So it's not quite a really effective screen because this gap is big and these guys are in the middle of it. But at least it's not complete free mobility for everyone. Okay, time to root. I did it again. Oh. Yeah, well, that's definitely part of the idea, yeah. He can make the sack. It's a 1 die, but it's 50-50. Once he's made the 3+, the sack itself is 50-50. Because he doesn't get the strip ball. I mean, before this, he was looking at a half die, which was just bad. Getting past him has made me use enough players that became undesirable. But yeah, there is no easy steal. The fact that I've removed 4 players, although 3 of them are probably coming back, still helpful. And this might just get us a surf too if we're eager. He has strip ball, but I have sure hands, yes. Because the ball is on the thrower. That's why it's 50-50. Leap's good, so now it's 75% with the reroll. Push is not good enough. Reroll into push. Sure hands for the win! This is definitely part of the reason why I enjoy having a thrower on Skaven. Because this early in the game, I would not have sure hands yet. Well. Well, he might get in touch with his fans. That's certainly possible. Can we serve them both? I suppose it's technically an option. He blocks here. He blocks there. He blocks here, he blocks there. Can we get that safe? Probably. Well, the dancer surf certainly has the priority. But this dodge guy isn't exactly useless either. Mm-hmm. Bye-bye, dancer. Ooh, and the crowd loves him. They're having seconds. Badly hurt. He apples. Well, fair enough. Good call. So, now we get to do this one. And I think we better splits here and then do the last push. Because here both down isn't that bad. So we put him there. And then we ourselves go here. And if he's coming in for a jump, then he's going to want to come through there. So getting here is actually kind of decent. 2 serfs in 1 turn would be quite lovely. Yep, 2 serfs in 1 turn. Not bad, not even a reroll used. And the crowd is not that fond of the dodge guy, unfortunately. But yeah, that went pretty well. 7 elves out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, getting here with these guys and the snow is going to be difficult. Well, technically, one is not an elf, Gabriel. Sorry, one is not an elf monkey. Yeah. Besides, if I only face one treatment, I think I'll manage. Run away! Run away! Don't hurt me! Okay. Who needs the touchdown? Manasatra needs the touchdown. Yeah, splendid first drive. Of course, he does still have one turning potential if these guys come back, so that's not... Plus strength vermin is a nice shout, I guess, but yeah, the sacker is on 14. I can blitz that. Hey, Stucker. That'll do. Oh, sounds good enough. Ooh, and another KO. But yeah, so on average, one of these will stay out. Dare I make that a pass? Well, I have accurate, I have rerolls. Why not? Right? See if we can lure him in a little. Yes, that was a cat. Very good, guys. Very good. There, I think this should be relatively safe, don't you? I think he made a gamble by jumping in with his dancer, and when he did, he gambled a lot. I also think he could have positioned a little better, but I've been very lucky with the punches. I mean, the first two removals were on the line of scrimmage, and I didn't punch the tree, so those were 2 out of 2. And situations like these, for example, I would have stuck this journeyman on here and then blitzed in passing with the dancer and then run off. So yeah, he has neglected some punches here and there. 1 blitz per turn, true. Whoops, that's a GFI. Let's not do that. Oh, he seems to have given up already. That's helpful. I'd only foul if I got a shot at his dancer, which I don't really. Fouling, getting a KO, and then having the KO come back would really suck. 5, 6. Yeah, sure. Let's reroll that. Way better. Wow, another KO! This is becoming rather predictable. Well, that went okay. If the catcher fails his KO roll, then I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'd still be punching something. Alright. Now we kill the tree. That would be cool. Wait. 2, 4... Oh, the tree's too far! I was gonna say you can run, but you can't hide, but he's far enough away. And for him as well, yeah. I'm not doing a 2-die with no block on an armor 10. That's just silly. Five KOs and an injury. Yeah, super lucky. 2 of them were serfs, but he appoed the dancer serf. It was badly hurt. So, really good, but he could one turn. He could have 10 players. I'm not super... Yeah, 2 of them stay out. Let's see which they are. The catcher stays out. That's nice. That's really nice. Gee, I wish I had... He does have the movement 9 dancer, though. Dancer could jump. Which means this formation isn't actually all that necessary. So what we might do is... How much harder do we make it with that? Not really, do we? We're also giving him extra punching targets. How much does this really help? Would it be better if I were, say, there? That doesn't help at all. Because you want to blitz from here into there. And then you want to push into here into there. Yeah, then I'd have to commit 2 guys, which means I couldn't hold the back. So then maybe this makes more sense. Something like that then. Because he would have to blitz in here. Yeah, I think this is okay-ish. Normally the 3 together is really bad if you don't have anyone behind it. But this is kind of a trade-off situation, I guess. He could still do the funky best direction thing, but he'd have to. You can get in here maybe. Not 100% sure. It's so silly how I'm so much better at one-turning than at defending against one-turns, considering it should be the same skill set you use. No sidestep though, that helps. Yeah, if you didn't have the plus movement, I would just be hanging in the back, I think. But with the movement 9 dancer, it's actually way better than the sprint, especially in the snow. Alright, so... Oops. No! I didn't click there! I didn't click there! I did not touch my mouse. I was using... Well, that was interesting. I had Alt-tabbed and tried to navigate across the game with WASD. That was interesting. So what does he want to do then? Push it into there, into there. Yeah, it's still possible. But at least he's going to be in a tackle zone when he needs to catch. Might even wind up in 2 if this guy doesn't go straight. Ooh, or he kills the dancer trying. That would not be bad either. Well, he hasn't killed him yet. 1 die pow. Good, good. I like that. It's pretty rare to be so happy about suffering a 1 die pow, but this was a good situation for it. Silly thing is, if he had gone here, he could have made it a 2 die pow. Because he didn't need to push from this square. He could have pushed from that square and just pushed the tree back. Yep. Aha! Ha 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 ha! That was not a 3 die either. I think things are going to go pretty good. Well, so far, so good. On average, 1 of these should stay down, but I'll take 2 down. That's fine. Yeah, getting this guy's strip ball will be pretty influential. I think it was the right call. Yes, Storm Vermin and Star Player points are more valuable, but it's a long way to 16, and this guy, strip ball, is really good. Yeah, this will do. No, what I said is if you really want to stop them in a couple of turns, like if this were turn 14, 15, I would definitely be hugging those flanks. But I mean, if he scores in 2 now, it's not that big a deal. And this lets me respond to where he's going. So, no. It's rarely that clear cut, which is also part of the problem, of course. He can't throw further than short, not that he wants to. Deep or shallow? This looks like a shallow to me. Well, blitz now would be awesome for me. But yeah, if he scores and he gets both of these guys back, then I still have my work cut out for me, that's true. Now let's kick it deep. There. Weather change. That's not bad. I mean, I have a sure feet. I'm more likely to use GFIs, I guess. Deep kick's pretty good. We can throw it in the backfield a little. Having only one-on-one here means he's going to have to actually bring guys up to help there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be blitzable. With a lot of GFIs. Yeah, I get that, Alark. What really bothers me is that when you're setting up for defense, you already see the opponent team there. To me, when you're setting up your defense, the other side of the board is empty. And then when you set up for offense, you can see the defensive position. So sometimes I see my opponent team, and the fact that I see it means I think, oh, I'm setting up for offense, and this is his defensive. So yeah, I've screwed up with that a couple of times. Okay, he's not planning to score quickly, I think. Three died this time. But he's basically forced to use his blitz. No! Wookut! Wookut. Not the journeyman. He's basically forced to use his blitz here to get an assist there. Doesn't have to be with the journeyman, but yeah. Unless he wants to one-die stuff. Okay, ball goes to the movement 9 dancer. Fair enough. Yeah, the tree has improved its game by a lot. Definitely true. Of course, actually stopping the movement 9 dancer would have been better to blitz with that guy, I think. Because he doesn't have loner. Alright. So... if we go... there, then we can do that here. Trying to set things up in such a way that he can only get next to one player with the tree, unless he blitzes with it. Or at least only one agility 3 player. And I messed that up, did I? No, because that's the gutter as well, yeah. Only one agility 3 player. Yeah, the gutters I consider freely movable, so they're not the problem. No, we're doing the discussion thingy. But since I'm broadcasting, I figured I would not broadcast the the pre-talk. But I guess it is about time to join that. So intern, join Discord, see how that goes.
Games are not always a good option. So anyway, yeah, that's something we are exploring, and I'd love to give more incentive to finish in the top 8 or top 16. But right now it's mainly administrative issues preventing that from happening.
Okay.
So science. Sorry, just I see someone in the chat talking about science. Science is already a currency given for the Champion Cup.
This is Nathios you're hearing.
We don't have that many stuff in the shop.
So at the moment, we're at a bit of a stalemate that the administrative nightmare of actually distributing the money is really stopping doing what you like in theory, but in practice, it's a problem. Do you think that'll ever change?
Well, the fact is, given the format of the competition currently, if we want to give away some prizes, it's either, it has to be by rounds. So it's either only the first one or the first two, then the first 4, because we don't do so many small final anymore, like third, fourth place qualifier. And if we go down after 4, it's going to be 8 winners. So if we put some actual money for the 8 first players, it basically doubles. And since we want to keep all platforms at the same level, it means going from 12 to 24 winners. And yeah, it's already very complicated. It's going to be even worse. So we need to find a way to, I don't think in terms of money it's going to change, because like legislation and legals, so these questions are not going to change in the short run.
I don't mind the MVP rules outline.
To give a better incentive for the top 8 or top 16 without money, or something easier to give away.
Thank you, Nathios. Jumpy Jim's got a question on the back of that. Jim, would you like to ask your question, old boy?
I was just curious if there are plans in the work for expanding the things in the shop that you can purchase with Scion, so that would be a more useful, worthwhile prize for those that qualify, and that would be much easier, obviously, administratively, than trying to send out money in the mail, so to speak, to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving more things to buy in the shop would be very cool, because it would give more value to the science, and so it would basically solve our issue. There has been a long discussion about potentially put a price on the premium skins for the star players, but for now, like, it should be part of the base game. So it hasn't been done. I don't think it's going to be done in the future, but it's been one of the discussion, one of the way people wanted to give science value. But I think the best way is simply to add cosmetics.
Oh, I screwed up.
I know a lot of people have
way.
been advocating for more cosmetic stuff, cosmetic skins, ball skins, stuff like that in the shop. It's something I'd love to see personally, but obviously that's a lot of work. It's not necessarily a huge amount of work, but the fact is the resources we have are better allocated if we focus on something that will benefit for absolutely everyone. It's very cool to add cosmetic stuff, but if I have to choose between, and obviously if the team has to choose between something only cosmetic and adding a new feature that will benefit for the whole player base, it will always go for the feature for the whole player base.
I don't think I want to go for that at
Yes, that would be very cool, but no plan in the short run for that.
Change your mind.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Agenda point number 2. At the moment, communication to and from Cyanide / Focus is mostly concentrated around folks using the Cyanide forums, which I think most people recognise is a tiny minority of the people who play Blood Bowl actually ever read it. Are there any other alternative methods, from your point of view, you'd like folks to use for both you to share things with us, but also us to give you guys feedback?
I think the set of tools we currently have to gather feedback is pretty strong in terms of reaching people. Like you mentioned the forum. We also have Discord, obviously. We also have Twitter, Facebook, and all the social networks. So I feel like we're already discussing a lot, at least gathering a lot of feedback with the core community. So basically you, people listening to us right now, and all the streamers here. But there is probably a better way to, because for example, when we release a new update, I know a lot of you are very interested in having access to the patch note, for example. And that's something we could communicate better than what we do currently. Like, for example, I'd love to use a bit more the in-game news, because that's something that everybody can see on the main game menu. And it should be updated more often. Currently, it's only updated for every new season in the champion ladder. But I feel like we could tell people there to go on the forum, to discuss about new topics, like I know that this is the wild cards, or any rule change in the champion ladder is important. And the more feedback we have about these, the more legitimate we are when we decide to change. So yeah, I feel like we should use more the in-game news mainly, and in link description as well could be an option.
I think the key thing is that you hear the voice of a
someone's
wider
breaking up
audience
awfully.
rather than what's perceived as quite a narrow one at the moment. But okay. T's got a question or a suggestion, really. T, would you like to put your suggestion forward on the back of that?
Yeah, it's whilst looking at the main menu when you load up Blood Bowl 2 before you access any of your teams and that sort of thing, you've got a button on there that has a hyperlink to the official guide, which goes straight to the Blood Bowl 2 website. What would be the issue, or if there's any issue at all, of implementing that same type of hyperlink to the forum itself, just to access it in game?
That's a very good idea, actually. I know the guide linked in the game is pretty outdated now because a lot of change happened. So it would probably be more useful to have a link straight to the main forum. So that's a very good idea.
Cracking. Just as a general point for the audience, I see some questions that are popping up that aren't specifically on the agenda. At point number 5, we'll hand over to general Q&A for Nethius. So he'll look at questions you've got and answer them directly then. So if you save those up, fellas, that's probably going to get best chance of them being noticed. Okay. Bit of a hot potato, the next one. The current bank rule in Blood Bowl 2 is not universally popular. Nethios and Dode, would you care to tackle this one jointly, fellas?
Sure, shall I start with that one?
Sure. Go ahead. Okay,
so currently the bank rule, you can have up to 150k, and anything above that counts towards your TV, which limits the ability for special teams to rebuild their teams that easily. To put a bit of background in, the whole point behind the bank rule originally was to keep teams in the 1400 to 1900 TV range. This was a design decision backed by the BBRC, and the BB 2016 rules have got the same intent really, which is why they have the expensive mistakes thing in there. The other issue we've got with it is that you can do inducement scumming. So if you're a low TV team, you can just dump some money into the game, get yourself a free wizard effectively, which obviously causes problems for the game. We've tried to address that with things like the financial fair play stuff for CCL. I don't know how well that's gone down particularly. I think in general it's better than what we've got. There are a few issues with that.
1 in 9.
But we would need it implemented in game. We can't do it for a league size of CCL just by having people do it on a system. For the main reason being that people simply won't know about it. For one thing, I don't see an issue with raising the bank to 300k, which is in line with the expensive mistakes sweet spot point, and implementing financial fair play.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you wonder what the hell's going on, there's a live stream of a discussion between Nethios, the Focus Home community manager, and Dode, the guy who runs Champ Ladder, who's in charge of the group who runs Champ Ladder, and a bunch of streamers.
Yeah, the financial fair play is what Dode thought of, and what I coined for the term for it, which basically limits the scumming to 40k for the underdog. Which, because I hate the bank rule. However, it's a necessity with the way you can scum, you can scum wizards. Being able to limit that is absolute, necessity. Being able to stop scumming wizards. So if the financial fair play could actually be coded in, then I think we could get rid of the bank, and it would be so much fairer and a million times better. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, I'm good. Okay. Obviously, the bank topic is, you've been very nice to say, not universally popular. I know a lot of you really don't like it or are against the current implementation of the bank rules. As Jimmy said, I think what we call the financial fair play rule works pretty well in the Champion Cup as it is right now, but the ideal would absolutely be to implement it on the large scale for the whole game. The way it's been implemented right now answers to a lot of issues, but it answers to something that had to be more simple than in the first game. I know a lot of you like a lot of petty cash for what it does, but there are some advantages, obviously. Some good points to the current implementation of the bank rules. It needs some tweaks. I gathered a lot of stuff about that. I even bookmarks, some specific suggestion. I'm thinking about one from Voodoo Mike on the forum, because every time you want to change something in the bank rule, we have to think about a way to keep it pretty simple for everyone, because petty cash is very nice, but in terms of UI and in terms of work to change it in Blood Bowl 2, it's pretty complicated. So we're looking for a way to change it to make it more smooth, but to make it more fair. So I think one of the ways, as Jimmy said, is to implement fully the financial fair play rule. That's one of the ways to do it. Obviously, that's not the only one, but it would be a very first step and a very good one.
If we did that, could we look at increasing the bank at the very least? I understand Jimmy's point with getting rid of the bank entirely. Just going back to the very first thing I said about trying to limit teams to roughly within the 1400 to 1900 TV range by allowing, and it will be largely bash teams to build up a large bank. Squishy teams don't have that happen. It basically allows them to maintain much higher TVs for longer, and I think that's why they were looking at using that in the first place.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Sage raised a question on the back of that, which may have been covered, but I'll Sage over to you if you'd like to ask your question there, mate.
Yeah, so what I was wondering is why we don't choose to limit the spending of the overdog as well, because to me that is the main reason why the bank rule still is needed, is because you don't want people splurging wizards as the overdog. And if you limit anyone spending to 40k just to top off inducements, or prevent the overdog from spending altogether, because that roughly amounts to the same thing except for those fringe low team value star players with the Neville's Altar, I think it would make for a system that is much less abusable and much more enjoyable.
If I can answer that, sorry. The bank rule wasn't there to prevent the higher TV team from buying inducements. It was there to prevent the higher TV team going up to $1 million in the bank and getting up to 2,200, 2,300 TV and buying more and more fodder to put on their line to save their better players, keep themselves at 13, 14 players. And with a higher amount of treasury, it enables them to maintain that buffer for longer, enables them to keep at that higher TV for longer.
The thing is, the bash teams tend to only need to replace their players every once in a while, and they can still do that. It's the agility teams that really suffer without the buffer because they can't rebuild. And I don't think they have the long-term survivability anyway. So I think the rule doesn't do what it's intended to.
Yeah, and that's why they've gone to the expensive mistakes thing, which I think makes it works much better to the intent.
Here's the thing, though: the bank rule that the BBRC, they went with that first, right? That's what they wanted. But Jervis Johnson, he thought that was the only rule that was worth not using, and he thought of something that they used in the CRP, they used it in the Rule Book 6, now they use it in Blood Bowl 2016 now, and they used it in Blood Bowl 1. So the bank rule has never been a thing officially, and it's just that Galaxy Star Scraper won't give it up, and I just think he should have let it die, you know? The reason of the 40k limit is obviously to top up. The reason that the higher TV can spend is because if the lower TV guy is going to pay for a wizard and, like, you know, then go over, why shouldn't they be able to, you know, because the lower TV, if you're 10 above somebody or 20 above somebody and the lower person can get a wizard, then you need to be able to get a wizard to counteract theirs. Or if you've got the money in, I mean, I wouldn't be averse to the higher TV not being able to spend, but I think by keeping it, it would be as close to tabletop as you can get and the real rules as you can get within the limitations that are there already with Blood Bowl 2, seeing as we can't have the real rules for some reason.
Well, the real rules do limit the amount of cash you can actually keep using the expensive mistakes thing.
Yeah, but they never did, though, you know. Blood Bowl 1 had the real rules, didn't it? And Blood Bowl 2 was based off CRP, but then for some reason changed the thing, you know.
Yeah, you and I would both love to see proper petty cash rules in there, but I think we've had enough indication from Cyanide that that's unlikely. So we need to find a way for that to work.
I think financial fair play does the job, you know, with no bank rule.
So we're looking at a 4-turn touchdown.
We're all agreed on financial fair play, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's reasonable because people like the idea of topping up, even though it's never been a thing. Even in Galax's original bank rule, topping up wasn't a thing. But everyone seems okay with it. Yeah, topping up the small amount.
Sorry, Zunk, just had a thought. What would be the possibility of removing the wizard as an inducement, as the new rules have? That would potentially eliminate that possibility of having to spend the money to get the wizard to offset when a lower team value buys it.
I'm not sure Cyanide wants to remove the wizard right now. It's still a cool mechanics, even though, as you said, it can be an issue in some very specific cases. I don't think there is any will to adapt new rules in that sense, or no, at least.
Okay, it was just a thought. I mean, you'd still, I think in that case, you'd still want to leave the core rules of the wizard there, because you still have the stadium enhancement, and in that point, both teams get the stadium the wizard at that point anyway, correct? So just removing the ability to buy the wizard as an actual inducement. I don't know what the possibility of that would be, but
I don't want them to take my wizard either. I don't think that's going to happen.
But we need to explore this option. But frankly, right now there is no will to remove the wizard in any way, not to affect this mechanic at least.
Sounds like we're pretty much all in agreement there. Everybody happy? Should we move on?
Yep.
Take silence as a yes. Question number 4. Again, for you, Nethios. Does Cyanide want Blood Bowl to be a fun casual game or a bit more MLG competitive?
So I think it's a tricky one, obviously, because Blood Bowl should stay what you make of it, meaning it's a big game. You have a lot of different way of playing it, and we don't want to impose. I'm talking here as a whole game, not as a champion ladder. But Blood Bowl 2, as any Blood Bowl game, should stay quite wide. I mean, you can play it for fun, for casual games, just to find something, just to find the quick game and play with friends, have fun. And it's very important for us to keep that available for players. But in the same time,
going pretty poorly.
It's a game that can be very competitive. That's why you all love the game as well. That's why we all love it. You can be very competitive in Blood Bowl, and it's a side of the game that's very important for us as well. Hence, the champion ladder. Champion ladder brings a competitive environment, but the main, because Blood Bowl can be both, but for the champion ladder, what we want to do mainly is bring an environment with low concession, where you're going to find easily a game, and where you're going to encounter players who are willing to put like 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours in a game and play well and focused. If you want to have fun and mess around and do whatever you want, you can go into the open ladder. But the goal of the champion ladder is first, and the most important point is to provide a good environment for competitive play. Then we add incentive to that. We added a prize pool. We added a lot of things to help people get motivated to play a lot, to be the best. But all of that is not the primary goal of the champion ladder.
The Lord,
the most important
the overdog
one
spends
is
first.
to provide a good
The underdog can only
with low
top up.
concession, mainly.
Thanks, Nethios. And again, I'm hesitant to put my input, but from a streamer point of view, Champ Ladder's been a real godsend, that it gives you on-demand games that have got a short-term sense of drama that you're trying to qualify. So I think it very much healthily combines. Blood Bowl is a bit of a laugh, but here's a slightly more serious element to complement it.
If I can, on CCL specifically. It was originally set up as a matchmaking league with moderation. Basically, having done FOL and BB1, Nethios then came to me and asked me to, set up a method of moderating this with a team, a very good team we have now. It was originally set up as a matchmaking league with moderation, with minimum concessions, exactly as Nethios suggested.
That was brutal.
The main purpose of actually having a tournament in the first place was to promote diversity in the ladder. Because the main complaint we've seen about just about every matchmaking ladder system we've seen is high TV problems with diversity, and even low TV problems with diversity. We can talk about issues with that a little bit later on, but that was originally the main purpose. The playoff bit didn't really become serious until season 5, I think, when the money started getting in. But there's 2,000 coaches and more that play in the ladder every season, and those are the main focus, with the competitive aspect of the cup effectively initially being as a bolt-on. It's more serious now, and there are ways we can address that, but that's the focus, is the majority of the coaches.
Yeah, smashing. Well, this is going wonderfully well in terms of time so far, folks. we've got about 20 more minutes left with Nethios. So, can I ask the audience, I get the impression you're all itching to ask Nethios questions, so we're now at the stage for free Q&A with Nethios. So, Nethios, would you like to pick and choose questions you'd like to answer from the chat, or would you like me to try and pick some out for you?
I think both. I have the chat in front of me, but if you see one that seems very cool, don't hesitate to suggest one. But yeah, people just ask questions in the chat. I'm going to try to read the cool ones.
Okay, folks, please ask questions that you'd like to hear from Nethios about, and I'll try and pick up any that he's missed, and I sympathise because the chat whizzes by at a fair old lick. So, folks, go.
Okay, I have the first one, I think.
3 turns.
Pretty easy one. Will we see another World Cup? Absolutely, we are currently working on it. I'd love to announce the next World Cup in January. It's going to be done as soon as possible.
One
that's cropped up that I've heard many times before. Alark asks, the MVP rule, any plans to change that? And specifically what folks have formally said is it's frustrating when the MVP goes to a loner or a player who's just died. For example, folks have previously suggested, could you select 3 players who would be eligible for the MVP? Anything along those lines to narrow it down?
Yeah, I know it's a pretty popular rule from the new rules. There is no plan to change the MVP rule in Blood Bowl 2 for now, but given that, at the release of the new rules for Blood Bowl, on the tabletop version, we said that we were going to wait a few months to see which new rules were going to be liked, which one not. And this one seems to be pretty liked overall, even though I read also some people saying that it was bad because it removed part of the RNG of the game and it was fun and everything. But
here comes the one die.
This one could be an option for potential future content.
Next question. Squirrel Dude asks, Nethios, has there been any thought to adjust the kickoff events for the champ ladder only?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Yeah, Dude asks, has there been any thoughts to adjust or change the kickoff events just for champ ladder?
4. Jump's good. One die.
Not yet, to be frank, but that's something.
One die. Push. Reroll skull.
And obviously with the regeneration team for the champion ladder.
No, you got
that's
the power.
That's always a collective decision, but anything could be changed for that.
Well, they're an on-off option, aren't they? So we could either have them on or have them off.
Well,
I don't know.
This could be worse,
right?
right?
I think that there's a case for turning them off, certainly in the cup, but there's a lot more to discuss about the whole cup and ladder thing anyway.
7, 8. Yeah, that's a lot of
dodging. That's a good question. That's actually on the agenda, the updated version that you can't yet see. So we'll cover that later. Andy, did you have a question? I just see you typing in Discord there.
So 3 plus 4
out 2
plus
from
4
the
plus
chat,
3
Nethios,
plus
if you don't mind me
3
asking
plus
2 just from chat there. The first one is the time bank rule. Is there any possible plans to look at, instead of giving you 3 or 4 minutes for every turn, maybe giving you, for example, 2 minutes in a turn, and then banking that minute you would have got in turn 1, or giving you a 10-minute credit?
No. You're not allowed to make these rules. I will not allow it.
Two separate topics in this
Bad
question.
catcher.
The
Stop.
first one is
Stop and die.
are we open to changing the length of the turn in champion ladder? So for this one, the answer would be yes, because we did it on console, and we are totally open to change maybe to 2 minutes or to 4 minutes. Probably 2 minutes would be the debate. It's been done on console. And obviously,
I think Andy's just playing a game too, by the way. No, fuck off!
Ruling the length of the turn in Global 2. Yes, it's an option. But,
no, you don't. Fail the GFI.
A new system to implement in the
He
game.
hasn't even used the dodge reel yet. Fail the GFI.
It's time consuming and it takes some resources.
Bad.
So right
Bad
now,
catcher.
most of the resources, most of the team
Well, he doesn't
is
have a
focused
reroll.
on
He's staying.
improving the stability on
He
consoles.
is staying. All right. What does that mean?
PS4.
This
we had
is
some
currently a
reports
1 die.
about, some new issues. So right now we are really focused on improving the experience on consoles, and hopefully as soon as this is fixed, and hopefully it's going to be quick, we're going to have some resources to dedicate to new features or tweak to the game. No promise here, but I have the famous community wish list. And I think the time bank is pretty high on the list.
Nethios, Jimmy's got a question. I'll let him ask it to you directly as he's got a mic. Jimmy?
It was just about the most frequently asked question on my stream and most streams, I think, is about being able to look for a match with multiple teams. Like how does looking for a match work is one of the things, because it seems the matchups seem pretty random a lot of the time. But also, I mean, that the number one problem with the matchmaking, whether you think TV Plus is good or bad or whatever, the number one problem is lack of teams looking for games. So
this is going to be dicey.
Looks for games with more than one teams. That would be the absolute best thing to fix the matchmaking, I think. So yeah, I would just love input from Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I absolutely agree that multi-spinning is very important. It would help a lot the ladder, as you just
I would have preferred not to surf, because now the ball is going to go randomly and I don't have that many gutters left.
Spin with multiple team, but the way it works is quite obscure, at least for me.
That's interesting.
I know the system is a bit complicated and mainly it's not reliable. So it's absolutely something I discussed with the team. It's just that, as I just explained, they were very focused on the stability on console. But I'd love to have multi-spinning working properly, or at least working in a clear way for everyone. Because even if it's a bit complicated, at least if everyone understands how it works, it's going to make things easier. So yeah, multi-spinning is absolutely on the list. It's pretty high as well.
Smashing. Sorry, folks, I'm typing furiously as well as trying to pay attention to what the hell's going on. Nethios, have you spotted another question you'd like, or do you want one queued up?
I haven't had time to take a look. I see a lot of stuff about future content, like new DLCs, new extensions, stuff like that. I'm not allowed to discuss about that. I'm very sorry, folks. We will do proper announcement as soon as we have something solid on that side.
No problem. And fellas, look, quite a lot of you are asking questions that are actually on the extended agenda that you can't yet see, which Andy is working on. So not ignoring you, but they're already there. Let's have a look.
Draw here looks very realistic.
Question about if Focus or Cyanide would invest money on in the existing big leagues, like UK BDL, CC, etc. I think in terms of official competition and prize pool, we don't want to, because if we put, as Cyanide and Focus, if we put money on a competition, we need to have a pretty good grasp on how it's being done. We need to be able to change some rules and stuff like that, and we don't want to impose that on the big league. Like, I mean, these leagues are ruled by as a community by very cool people and very motivated.
That helps.
People who do it very well. So if we arrive and impose some stuff, it's not going to work. So we have an official competition with the champion ladder where we put money and we have control over what's going on there. And then
this one as well,
World Cups, where we try we try to work with the community to give some spots. That's what we did for the last World Cup. We gave some tickets for the playoffs to the big leagues, the big community leagues. We're going to do the same thing for the next World Cup. That's our way to support the big community leagues.
Also got a couple of questions regarding any chance at all of cross-platform play, so that the Xbox and PS4 guys could play against the PC community. What's the chances?
That's also a hot topic that's been discussed a lot since release. We studied the option to do such a thing for Legendary, to be honest. But as most big features, it's something that would be absolutely awesome. Obviously, it would help a lot, even for us, because we could unite all the champion leaders, all the leagues, all the community could work together.
Yeah,
and,
I can't get a good chain push on this though. That's
cool,
really the problem.
cool
I'm gonna
leagues,
need the 3+ dodge
on all
probably.
platforms, so I'd love to see all of them go together. But
3+ dodge from a loner.
A lot of games don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of work, a lot of resources. And for example, if we had done it for Legendary, we would have had maybe half the content. So it's always complicated because you have to choose between adding more content to the game, adding more teams, adding
can't
more
get an
features,
assistant.
and a lot of them are requested by the community for a long time. And maybe studying the option to add cross-platform. So until now, we decided to focus on pure content and new features for the players. But it's not necessarily over. It could happen in the future, but it has a cost in terms of resources. That's what I mean. So yes, it's super high in the community wish list, obviously, but not in the short run anyway.
Thank you very much. The two questions combined into one. Alark asks, will there be a mechanism or anything we can do to detect AFK players who just abandon a game to troll the opponent in the hope that they'll concede? That also touches in with Nergis's question, which, Nergis, if you'd like to ask that yourself.
I don't think there's any option but to dodge here.
Just the best way to report anyone that's misbehaving in any way or being toxic, because it's quite a task to report someone to go through the forum and chase someone down like that. I actually didn't know how to do it myself. Like an in-game method to report a player would be really good to see, if that's possible.
Yeah. It was a topic as well during the development. It's just,
since we have sure feet, I'm pretty sure the 3 GFI option is better than the pause and catch.
We already have some reports, not many, but it's like maybe 3 to 4 per day, just with the forum. So it means if we had something in game to do it directly, it's probably going to multiply this amount by 3 or 4 minimum. So it's a lot of work, and
well done, journeyman.
The team just was wondering who could handle that so far. But that could be a very good option. I think it's always how to manage people.
That was scary. That was scary as hell.
AFK in game, so it's
811. Oh yeah.
Also making
and no perms.
People are aware of the rules. You're always gonna have people trolling your internet. It's expected, but to minimize as much as possible this
perfect
kind of,
winnings. We get a storm vermin
behavior.
Oh yeah.
To have good information for the coaches, and I think that's, for example, making sure all the league description are updated, communicating as much as possible with players about the rules, about concession, for example, in the champion ladder. That goes to what we discussed earlier about communicating with players. And reporting in game is an option that's been discussed for a long time, but I don't see it arriving in like the coming months. But that could be an option in the future.
Yep, and I understand that it would be very difficult to maintain it, and it's extra costs to have people look at it.
There's an option to.
Well, but then
I just reminded the first.
But then we don't have the storm vermin that I really want. And line rat star player points are not that good.
As I
Sorry,
just
Vorage.
said, it goes through more info because sometimes people just don't know that it's not okay to do that. And also, we discussed in the past, I think we've done as well, of a way to detect automatically an AFK, for example, in the game.
Where is it? There it is.
In a very specific way that sometimes can be detected in the data. So
and we get a new art.
That's something I'd love to dig a bit more to have something automatic like that tell us automatically. For example, this guy has been AFK, so we can do something about it.
9 players. We're 100k away from being full. We're 200k away from having the roster as complete as I would like.
We certainly have had reports, and it's a matter
200k. It's a lot of money.
What is
Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave it a thumbs up at the bottom. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos, do check out the channel and hit subscribe on your top right.